Henry Cavill is one of the most recognizable faces in Hollywood, mostly because he only seems to play the most iconic characters, but also because those Greek god genes help. But it wasn't always like that. Even this man has had his share of rejection in the industry. And do you know who he has a score to settle with on this matter? Robert Pattinson. Alright then, let's get to the bottom of this. First up, we could have had Vampire Henry.
But generally, sort of off movies, I tend to be off season. And,
Josh Horowitz, or as we know him, the guy who does the Lord's work, scratched this old wound in his latest interview with Henry Cavill. He reminded us all of what we could have had, him as Edward Cullen. If you don't know your Cavill or your Twilight lore very well, you probably don't know that the author of the books, Stephenie Meyer, had the now 39-year-old in mind when she wrote the books. This guy was her perfect Edward Cullen. So why didn't he get the role? Like, it takes one Google search of young Henry to see all the right reasons he could have played the undead teenager. He told Josh Horowitz that he didn't know about such a thing. Yep, the producers didn't contact him at all. So what about the author's dream? She also didn't want to let him know about the role. The reason? Because he was already a bit too old to play a teenager. Netflix showrunners are having a mental aneurysm as we speak. Meyer didn't want to consider anyone above the age of 21 for the role, but Cavill and his curls were already touching 25. The writer of the popular series was heartbroken that she lost her perfect Cullen, but she didn't lose hope even then and suggested he play Carlisle. Once again, the offer didn't reach the actor's doors. Following up, would he have wanted to play Cullen?
I really loved my suit. I thought it was pretty cool.
So what if Stephenie Meyer's dream had come true? Would the chiseled charmer of Hollywood want the role? Considering he still hadn't had his big break in the industry, it's safe to say he would have said yes. Because after all, Twilight was a big franchise even before the movies made it huge. Looking back though, he doesn't show as much enthusiasm. He said that back then, the internet wasn't quite the tool as it is these days, so he didn't even hear the rumor right away. When Josh asked him if he was jealous of Pattinson for getting to play Edward, he just said, "Oh yeah, that would have been cool." There have been a few times in the past though, when talking about this subject, he's had a sus-looking smile on his face that you could interpret as, "Jesus, I dodged a bullet, didn't I?" Listen, say what you will about the Twilight films, but they were iconic. They were the classics that most of you are afraid to admit you enjoyed watching. But still, considering Pattinson's slow descent into madness as the films went on, we might say Cavill did dodge a bullet. Hell, we might even say that whether Henry wanted the role or not, our boy Robert wouldn't have minded exchanging places with him back in those days. Coming up, this wasn't the only time Cavill lost to Pattinson.
We don't do that. Sort of, I appreciate good storytelling, yes, but it's not a good habit to get into, and Thomas was...
The first Twilight film came out in 2008, but Pattinson's unintentional theft of the roles that could be Henry's dates back to 2005. We're talking Goblet of Fire era. This one, our new Sherlock Holmes told Horowitz, he remembers well, because this one he wanted. Jack Whitehall, you're not alone on this. Cedric Diggory was the role the two British heartthrobs battled over. Cavill's journey went as far as getting an audition, and he gave that audition. He hopes now that nobody has the recorded tape for it, and if there is a copy, it's buried in a vault, never to be discovered. So yeah, if Edward Cullen was never a fight, Cedric Diggory was quite literally Batman v Superman. Would you look at this? Now they've ended up with rival characters in the DCEU. How poetic. Moving on, would Cavill make a good Edward Cullen?
Okay, so I spent a lot of time over here, obviously, and I've been watching some American football. I started to like the sport.
Listen, we're all Cavill fans over here, but let's be honest. He wouldn't be a very good fit for the teenage vampire now, would he? Sure, he had the looks for it, but it just didn't seem right for some reason. Maybe it's because Henry is much better at playing more, how do we say, stiff characters. Like he has the looks of a god, but an emotionally distant god. To prove our point, we present to you Geralt of Rivia. May he rest in peace. No one, apologies to Liam Hemsworth, but no one can quite get that certain cold vibe of that character right, the way Henry Cavill did. Then we have Sherlock Holmes. Again, a character that doesn't like showing emotion, even in this new version of Holmes, where he's the big brother of Enola first and a detective second. He's still not that expressive, and the actor does a great job of portraying that. And of course, he's also Superman, the straightforward, always right superhero. We doubt he would have been able to bring to life the chemistry that Pattinson and Kristen Stewart brought to the screen. So yeah, that's a lot of words to say that whether Robert Pattinson likes it or not, he was the perfect pick for Edward Cullen. This burden was yours to bear, Robert, and we salute you for your service to the cinematic masterpieces that are the Twilight movies. Not to mention, he wouldn't be Superman.
You know what? You would assume so.
Yes,
but he doesn't. He doesn't.
Does he
He's
ever
just
even
really
get hurt?
Yes.
He does.
He does.
Sure, Henry missed out on being a part of the cultural phenomenon of Twilight, but he got to be Man of Steel a few years later. He wouldn't get this big break if he got the Cullen part. Why? Because firstly, Twilight was a years-long commitment, but even if he had found a way around this, there would be a second problem. For the teenage vampire, he would have had to maintain a much leaner physique, and for the part of Superman, he had to gain a lot of muscle. Now we know Henry Cavill is a man of many talents, but shape-shifting is not one of them. So yeah, he missed out on some major roles, but his career took a much better road without them. He did alright for himself. Up next, there was another big role he missed out on.
In time, you will help them.
The name's Bond, James Bond. Hollywood has been quite harsh on this poor man. James Bond is at the top of the list of the famous roles he almost got to play. Before he was Man of Steel, he also auditioned for James Bond. He was too young to play 007, born too early to play Cullen, and too late to play Bond, born just in time to play Superman. Of course, Horowitz brought this up too. Henry gave a much more detailed answer about what went down this time. He said he got a call back and even praised his audition, but they said he wasn't a name yet. They wanted a big name to play the famous character, so Daniel Craig got it. Well, he sure is a name now, isn't he? This man looks like he was born to play 007, and thankfully there are rumors he might be the next Bond. He didn't confirm or deny the rumors, only saying he would love to take the role if given a chance. Just give him the role already, Jesus Christ, what are you waiting for? Now, let's talk about his Superman journey. First up, he almost missed this one too. Now that our man is finally back in the Superman suit after a rough journey in the DCEU, let's take a trip down memory lane. We talked about all the major roles he didn't get to play, but to be fair, he almost missed Man of Steel too, all because he's too big of a video game nerd. When Snyder gave him the call he was so desperately waiting for, he almost missed it. He was playing World of Warcraft, a game that can't be saved or paused, and also your teammates depend on you. And because he had his priorities straight, he didn't ditch his teammates. When he finally leaped for the phone, he had missed the call. Here's what's up with the Man of Steel's future. Congratulations to all the Man of Steel believers. We're getting a second movie. Yep, now that Cavill's return to the DCEU has seen the light of day. With that Black Adam cameo, there's more good news. Man of Steel 2 is in the works. It's still in the pretty early stages. As of now, only the screenplay is being developed. We don't care how long it takes, as long as we're getting a sequel. Lastly, will Superman be different this time?
You okay?
Yep, this time around we'll see a slightly different version of Superman. After changes at the DCEU headquarters, they now seem to have another vision for Cavill's Superman. Unlike the previous movies, now we might see a more traditional version of the Kryptonian superhero we've known so far without all the signature darkness of the DCEU. That's a wrap for this video. Which Henry Cavill role is your favorite? Also, is there a fictional character you think Cavill is the best pick for? And which one is it? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. Thanks for watching, and we'll see ya in the next one.